Okay, welcome back again, gentlemen. So we are again today here with another episode of UX Byte. With me is Gary here. So we would be again with every different episode, we would be breaking out different components of e-commerce, websites and brand, and how that can leverage your brand into making good business impact, and how to understand the opportunity that we might have been missing all this time while ignoring and overlooking these type of components. So today we would be looking at the product carousel itself, the product image part that we see every product detail page we have. And why this is important is because with e-commerce, the images are extremely important because that's where the social proof, the actual convincing happens for the users. This, look at it as a virtual fitting room for yourself, for either you're when you're buying for yourself as a clothing brand, or some shoes, or something to drink, or something to wear, whatever it is. Really, the product image carousel is extremely important point. And according to an estimate, if we overlook and based off a sizable traffic per month, there is a depreciation of around 28K per month. And if you look at it over the year, that's a huge amount that we should avoid leaking. So there are a few examples today that we will be looking at. Right away, we have option A, which is Wink, and we see they have used different type of product because they have this bundle that they will be looking at. But over to you, Gary. We would be looking at A, B, C, and for A, I would request Gary to look at and see what we have for the A one.
Yeah, absolutely, it does. The only thing that I'm kind of what I mentioned is the Wink. It is a huge brand, but for some reason I assume they've already A/B tested many times before, and they probably know that this is a good layout. But I mean, you never know, so it's worth testing for your particular brand and seeing what works better. The A option that I see right now, and it is in like the utmost importance for your business and for your website that you have, is above the full section. And the reason for this is because you have the highest concentration of the eyeballs of your customers on this particular section of your product page, because not everybody is scrolling down. If you're not catching the attention of the above default of the images, you're losing a lot of the money. So this A option is probably applicable, and I've seen this many times before, and I'm a huge fan of this kind of layout. Whenever you start scrolling down, it just slides in this section, the buy box. So this is kind of applicable when you want and your brand has a minimalistic approach to user experience and user design, as well as you want to have your customers to feel that your product, your brand has a feeling of a premium, and that is how you position your brand and your product line. But overall, whenever you have something technical, whenever you have a lot of the images of your products and you want to highlight them from different angles, that is a good example for you. That is how you can leverage this.
Collider is a big brand. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people in North America would have would know this brand. However, this one is a again, beverage brand, right? And there's a certain demographic, certain type of persona that we would be designing or using this option B for, right? Again, with this type of beverage is being drunk by a lot of senior, like in 40s, people who are actually in 40s, as well as juniors, right? So what they have here is that these type of products essentially need a lot of context. So this cursor essentially would have the kind of interaction that user can either swipe or also use arrows, as you see we have here, to click on to the next one. And as you see in the bottom of this cursor, they also have these kind of progress bars, right? So these are kind of automatic sliders or marquees, how they have it, and they essentially automatically pulls up the next image. And again, it gives a lot of leverage, a lot of, I would say, control to the user as well, that they can look at different products, pictures based off the context, as well as based off how and what packaging we would be having, how much the again the mls or the ounce and the measurement of that beverage would be. And you see they haven't given a lot of height, a lot of estate, real estate to the images, because more information that's important for the conversion is the actual information they have below. Because images are important, but maybe the text and the other information is more important for these type of brands. Again, as Gary mentioned, these are not the solutions that fit for all. You have to make the choices. You have to understand what type of user you are dealing here with, and what exactly would be suitable for and would convince them to make that decision to buy it. Again, when we're talking about each and separate sections, Carousel today, something else tomorrow, we need to understand within the context of making sure that it actually is conversion optimized and is not there just for the sake of showing it. Because a lot of brands, they actually do that they consider this very sacred real estate, I would say, and throw in everything out in there, right? I mean, every type of image that they can have. However, that is the very wrong approach. Let's see what does Gary has for the option C now.
Yeah, and besides the option C, I want to mention at least one thing that I fully agree with you is buyer personas. So whenever you're building something, whenever you're coming up with something, some ideas, some redesigns, some anything for a business, for your product, for your website, for a section, you should always consider your buyers, your customers, and keep them in mind, because everything that you're doing, your business on your website, you're doing this for them. Eventually, you want to increase your revenue, but first and foremost, take care of your customers' needs and make sure that the solution, the carousel, the design, the layout, and everything that you're doing, your customers are going to love, because that is the only way that you can increase your revenue. Other than that, those manipulations, this is just a short-term solution for you. So everything that we're showing to you, it has to be split tested. The option C, I'm a huge fan of anything that triggers the curiosity. And as you can see in this layout, it is a very good thing to have, because whenever you are on the image first, let's call it the thumbnail, you can already see like a little preview of the next one. And most likely, and we've seen it many times in our A/B test, it triggers you to scroll to the next one. And the more time you spend on the product page, discovering the product, looking through the nutrient facts, looking through the ingredients, certification, science, the background information, you can incorporate there. You can have 2-3 images, and then the fourth one can be a testimonial, a review from your happy customer holding your product. So that is how you blend the education, the trust, the entertainment. So that is a very good layout to have on a website, and that is how you can increase your likelihood for your customers to scroll those images. And it is a very good example for you, especially when you have a beautiful package. So that is how you can leverage the representation of your investments into the package that you've done in your brand. But overall, that was everything for today too. So we've discovered 3 options as those variations, those interpretations for above the fold image carousel section that you can have on your direct to consumer website. So please let us know which one of those you believe is going to be the most beneficial for your website. And if you're not certain about these, feel free to just drop a URL of your website in the comments below, and we're going to be more than happy to advise and let you know which one you should choose for an A/B test. Other than that,
See you guys.
that was
Bye.